Meanwhile, Ashley strolled backstage, only to be approached by Michelle McCool, who offered her an unsolicited lesson in self-confidence. Michelle was confident that she would have won the swimsuit contest if she had chosen to participate.
Are we conceited?
A spirited Ashley offered Michelle a rematch, but the latter declined, citing reluctance to showcase her body to the passionate New Jersey fans. Ashley countered with a poignant message.
I think you should spend a little less time talking down to people like you're teaching a class. Spend a little bit more time trying to find some class.
In a backstage segment, Michelle McCool and Crystal engage in mockery directed at the Diva Search contestants.
What's really sad though is any one of those girls would be 10 million times better than Ashley.
Unbeknownst to them, Ashley is just around the corner, and upon hearing the insults, she teams up with Jillian Hall to confront them. A heated exchange quickly escalates into a physical altercation, with a full-blown fight breaking out. Viewers were treated to exhilarating highlights of the Bikini bull riding competition, which unfolded during the earlier rounds. The anticipation built as the participants showcased their skills in this unique and entertaining contest. The energetic and daring display set the stage for the final showdown later in the evening. The climax of the competition was set to feature a highly anticipated face-off between Michelle McCool and Victoria. The highly anticipated Diva bull riding finals kicked off with Michelle McCool taking the daring first ride, managing to hold on for an impressive 12 seconds. However, the competition took a surprising turn when Victoria, determined to outdo her rival, lasted only 7 seconds. Frustrated by her performance, Victoria expressed her displeasure by breaking McCool's ruler, sparking controversy and fueling speculation that the bull might have been rigged. Moving on to the in-ring action, a Diva tag team match is set. Jillian Hall and Ashley Massaro versus Crystal Marshall and Michelle McCool. The match kicks off with Michelle and Jillian in the ring. Jillian displays her agility with a backflip handspring elbow early on, followed by some hair pulling and an arm bar. Ashley tags in, but Crystal seizes a cheap shot from the apron. Ashley retaliates, only to walk into a clothesline from Michelle. Taking control, Michelle delivers mounted punches, eventually tagging in Crystal. Crystal executes a suplex and goes for the cover, but Jillian intervenes by ripping Crystal's top off, surprising everyone with an unexpected display. Seizing the momentary distraction, Ashley capitalizes and secures the victory with a schoolgirl pin, leaving Crystal shocked and the audience entertained. At Great American Bash, Crystal faced off against Ashley, Jillian, and Michelle McCool in a bra and panties match. The action kicked off with Ashley and Jillian launching an attack, quickly escalating into a chaotic brawl. Crystal delivered a decisive boot, sending McCool and Jillian to the floor. Amidst the frenzy, Ashley found herself losing her top after a heated exchange. Taking advantage, she retaliated by nailing her opponents and tossing them to the outside. McCool countered with a hair pull backbreaker, while Jillian re-entered the ring, engaging in a fierce brawl. Jillian gained the upper hand with powerful knee strikes and a slamming move on McCool. Seizing an opportunity, she climbed to the top turnbuckle, only to be thwarted by Crystal, who crotched her and left her hanging in a tree of woe. Meanwhile, McCool aggressively ripped off Jillian's top. The chaos continued as forearms were exchanged between the four competitors. In a surprising turn of events, heels were whipped together, and Ashley and Jillian managed to pants their opponents. McCool, resourceful as ever, revealed an extra skirt. Crystal and McCool found themselves entangled in a fierce brawl, with Ashley and Jillian observing from the sidelines. McCool was dropkicked to the floor, allowing Jillian to taunt Crystal by rubbing her boobs in her face. In the final moments, Ashley removed her top, concluding the electrifying match. After the match, Ashley and Jillian talk, and they agree Ashley strips Jillian. Jillian then strips Ashley, solving the problem. In a heated matchup, Michelle McCool, accompanied by Crystal, faced off against Jillian Hall, with Ashley in her corner. The tone was set as Michelle began by making fun of Jillian's melons, drawing an immediate response in the form of a forearm from Jillian. The action intensified, allowing Jillian to capitalize with a back handspring elbow. The tables turned as Michelle found herself in control with a headlock. Hall would fight with elbows to McCool's waist, only to have Michelle slam her for her troubles. A missed elbow by Michelle would give Hall the opportunity to hit a drop kick into a back handspring elbow. The tables turned as Michelle found herself with her face in Jillian's melons, creating a moment of embarrassment. Despite Jillian taking control of the match, a misstep occurred as she missed a leg drop. Seizing the opportunity, Michelle used the ropes for leverage in an attempt to gain an advantage for the win. On SmackDown, Michelle McCool introduced her new proteges,
And two of my favorite teacher's pets.
Casey James and Idol Stevens, as her teacher's pets, setting the stage for a tag team match against Funaki and Scotty 2 Hottie. The match kicked off aggressively, with Stevens taking the initiative against the late. Scotty attempted to rally, landing a solid right hand, but his momentum was quickly stifled by McCool's interference, allowing Stevens to execute a body slam onto James' knee, further tipping the scales in their favor. Meanwhile, the reigning tag team champions, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, observed the match from backstage. As the match progressed, James and Stevens continued to dominate with effective double teaming and isolation tactics. Idol Stevens delivered a calculated elbow drop for a near fall, maintaining pressure with a chinlock and targeted strikes to Scotty's neck. However, the tide began to turn when Scotty managed to tag in Funaki, who injected a burst of energy into the match. Stevens capitalized on the opportunity, covering Funaki for the pinfall victory, securing a win for himself and Casey James. In a dynamic tag team match on SmackDown, Idol Stevens and Casey James, accompanied by Michelle McCool, faced off against the reigning champions, Paul London and Brian Kendrick. The match kicked off with London and Stevens in the ring, where London quickly showcased his technical prowess by taking Stevens down to the mat. The champions exhibited flawless teamwork with a stunning double team maneuver, culminating in a high-flying double team elbow drop off the ropes onto Stevens. Maintaining their momentum, London and Kendrick executed frequent tags, systematically targeting and weakening Stevens' arm. Kendrick's agility was on full display as he nailed a flying body press. However, Stevens showcased his resilience, fighting back to tag in Casey James, who momentarily shifted the momentum with an armbar, but the champions quickly responded with a double-team hip toss and a series of kicks, demonstrating their championship caliber. Despite James's efforts, he only managed a 2 count following a collision with Stevens that saw London being thrown out of the ring. Stevens and James continued to press their advantage, with Stevens executing a body slam onto James's knee for another near fall. London, however, refused to be kept down, battling back against Stevens' onslaught. In a pivotal moment, London made the hot tag to Kendrick, who explosively entered the ring, clearing house. In the chaotic climax, London delivered a flying clothesline, setting up Kendrick for a roll-up on Stevens. The match's outcome seemed all but decided until James delivered a crucial kick to Kendrick's head. In a shocking turn of events, the duo known as the Teacher's Pets managed to steal one, securing a victory against the champions in a match filled with high-flying action, strategic teamwork, and a dramatic finish. Crystal found herself in the company of WWE Tag Team Champions Paul London and Brian Kendrick. With a tactful approach, Crystal didn't waste any time highlighting a recent upset: the champions' unexpected loss to the emerging duo of Casey James and Idol Stevens. Kendrick and London scrambled to justify the defeat. However, before they could fully explain themselves, the interview took a dramatic turn. Casey James and Idol Stevens ambushed London and Kendrick from behind. To add insult to injury, McCool used her ruler as a weapon, striking the champion. The segment concluded with James, Stevens, and McCool standing tall, having laid out the WWE Tag Team Champions, Paul London with Brian Kendrick versus Casey James with Michelle McCool and Idol Stevens. The match kicks off with an intense exchange of blows between Paul London and Casey James. London gains early control, aggressively cornering James and delivering a series of punishing strikes. However, James manages to turn the tide with a forceful whip followed by a high back drop. Maintaining his momentum, James then executes a solid backbreaker on London. James presses his advantage, using a snapmare to bring London down. He then secures a neck wrench, slowing the pace and wearing down London further. Despite the pressure, London rallies, fighting back with a flurry of chops and right hands that re-energize the crowd. He lands an elbow strike, followed by a precise mushroom stomp from the top rope. London continues his offensive. As London builds momentum, Idol Stevens interferes. This sparks Brian Kendrick into action. Back in the ring, London recovers and executes a flawless drop salt. London climbs to the top turnbuckle, eyeing a high-impact move to potentially finish the match. However, before he can launch his attack, the PitBulls storm the ring, initiating a chaotic brawl involving all three teams. The referee is forced to call for the bell as the ring fills with wrestlers, turning the match into a wild melee. The teams exchange blows, with no clear dominance as the situation spirals out of control, leaving the match with an inconclusive ending. After an intense tag team match between Paul London and Brian Kendrick and the PitBulls, chaos erupted. Just as London and Kendrick were celebrating their hard-fought victory, the Teacher's Pet stormed the ring, launching a vicious surprise attack. Executed a devastating double brainbuster on London. They then turned their attention to Kendrick, delivering a brutal double DDT that knocked him out cold. The Teacher's Pet stood tall over the fallen champions, sending a clear message. 6-person tag team match: Idol Stevens, Casey James and Michelle McCool versus Brian Kendrick, Paul London and Ashley Massaro. The match starts with the high-flying champions utilizing their speed and agility to take an early advantage. They execute quick tags, focusing on his arm, applying various holds and strikes to weaken him. Even JBL, on commentary, notes James' resemblance to wrestling legend Bobby Eaton. Idol Stevens, seeing his partner in trouble, yanks down the ropes, sending London spilling to the floor with a nasty thud. This shifts the momentum, and London becomes the face in peril. Michelle McCool, seizing an opportunity, delivers a humiliating slap to London, drawing boos from the crowd. Despite the relentless onslaught, London fights back, showcasing his resilience. He dodges a double-team move and London finally makes the hot tag to Kendrick. Kendrick enters the ring like a house on fire, taking down both Stevens and James with a flurry of kicks and clotheslines, clearing the way for Ashley Massaro to go after Michelle McCool. Ashley tackles Michelle, and the two women roll around, trading blows. Casey James tries to come to Michelle's aid, but Kendrick catches him with a sunset flip off the top rope. The combined impact of the sunset flip and the drop salt is enough to keep James down for the count. Chavo Guerrero on SmackDown. The atmosphere is electric as Paul London, Ashley, Casey James, Michelle McCool, and Jamie Noble are all at ringside. Kid Cash and Idol Stevens square off against Brian Kendrick, and the action begins with Cash and Stevens slugging it out in the center of the ring. However, the commentary team is more focused on the big news of the week, King Booker being invited to appear on ECW next week. Despite the distraction from the commentary, the action in the ring is fierce. Cash and Stevens quickly form an uneasy alliance, double-teaming Kendrick. Kendrick fights back valiantly, using his speed and agility to dropkick both opponents down. The crowd rallies behind him. Cash delivers a brutal release suplex. Stevens seizes the opportunity to take control, but his advantage is short-lived. Kendrick gathers his strength and executes a spectacular tornado DDT. The crowd erupts as Kendrick hooks the leg for the pin, securing a hard-fought victory. WWE Tag Team title match, London and Kendrick versus the PitBulls versus Casey James and Idol Stevens. McCool as the PitBulls and the champions. London and Kendrick immediately engage in a heated brawl before Casey James and Idol Stevens can even enter the ring. When Casey James and Idol Stevens finally enter the fray, they assert their presence by leveling Kendrick with powerful strikes. Idol Stevens and Casey James double-team Kendrick effectively, keeping him grounded while Noble and Cash focus their assault on London, sending him tumbling to the outside. Inside the ring, Idol and Casey continue their dominance with coordinated attacks, but Kendrick manages to fight back with a well-timed leg lariat to Idol. As the match progresses with all three teams vying for supremacy, the action intensifies with rapid tags and high-impact moves, showcasing their tag team chemistry. Kendrick counters with his signature sliced bread number 2, but London counters and sends him crashing into the steel. In the final moments, London capitalizes on the opportunity with a quick roll-up on Cash, securing the pinfall victory to retain the WWE Tag Team Championship.